Alright, hello, I'm the silverkyle, and it is time to talk about the last 2018 E3 conference, which is Nintendo. And once again, this year's E3 just has not lived up to the expectations that I have wanted from previous E3s that we've gotten from numerous E3 conferences over the years. This year, I would probably say Microsoft won out of the big three, then Nintendo, then Sony, as you know, the three big companies. But as a publisher alone, if you included that, I'd say that Bethesda, considering that they're a publisher, probably did the best with what they have. They can only show so many games, and I feel that their presentation was the best. They actually were physically at E3, unlike Nintendo, in the sense for their conference. And what they showed was really what fans wanted, and they did a really good job of having the segues and moving along from one game to another. I just really enjoyed their conference, and Nintendo's was just, it was there. However, for the little bit of things that they did show, I really dug them. Honestly, Nintendo might beat Microsoft, because Microsoft, they showed a ton of games. Yes, they showed so many games. How many of those was I actually interested in, or had I seen already? Granted, I had seen a lot of these things as well for Nintendo. I'm actually, no, I'm going to say, as crazy as it is, Nintendo beat Microsoft by like a small portion. Honestly, all three of them did not really do a good job. But yeah, I'll give it to Nintendo just because I'm so excited for a lot of the games that they have that are coming out and that they showed. I don't have it in order here. It's just kind of, I found a site that has everything that they showed. They spent way too much time on Super Smash Bros. Now, I love Super Smash Bros. Just like anybody else. I hate fighters. However, Super Smash Bros. Is very much my kind of fighter. If you're going to have a fighter, have a bunch of Nintendo characters where you're able to hop around, and it's more so about, you can have fun with the game instead of just like on a 2D plane and kind of going from side to side. That, I do play those games, and I do get like an itch every once in a while to play those, but I like being able to jump around, going around on a level, and having to move around and exploding and things like that. That's fun. Nintendo just understands how to make specific genres so much funner. Racing games I also never really care about either, and Mario Kart right there, I absolutely love. I have a poster of it. I have 3 posters in this room. I need 4. But yeah, 3 posters, and one of them is about Mario Kart. So anyway, Super Smash Brothers, super excited for. They have, as far as changing up fighters, they did update it quite a bit. But it's Super Smash Brothers. It's gonna be great. I didn't need like how many minutes they spent on it, saying, this is what we did with this character, this is what we did with this character. I feel that this is something that they could have done for Treehouse. I just feel that maybe 5 minutes would have been sufficient, kind of just showing a bunch of different things instead of spending so much time. That's where I feel that Treehouse makes so much more sense, and also for what Sony did. I think that would have worked a lot better in that kind of a video, where they have their conference, they kind of show a bunch of games, and then they go into afterwards, okay, the conference is done. If you want to see a little bit more about these games and talk to like some people that developed the game and are going to be hyping up the game and explaining a little bit about the game, check out something like Nintendo's Treehouse, where they dive into it a little bit more. The Treehouse that they had for Pokemon was excellent, by the way. And even the Super Mario Party was fantastic. But yeah, Super Smash Bros. I just felt that it took a little bit too long. I am looking forward to it. Just, yeah. They showed Ridley as the new character from Metroid. Then they talked about Fortnite is now available for the Switch as of that day. I've already downloaded it. Super stoked about that. I have not played Fortnite yet. I mean, it's free everywhere, but yeah, I picked it up on the Switch. Then they once again, it's not really in the chronological way, because I mean, they ended with Super Smash Brothers. It's just the way that they have it on this site for whatever reason. Next up was Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I was so happy with this. I mean, I kind of knew that this was the way that they were going to go, in terms of it's going to be a Fire Emblem on a console, so it's going to look that much nicer. I just got like chills as I watched this. I was so happy with this. I'm a fairly new Fire Emblem fan. Fire Emblem Awakening was my first one. I picked it up that year that it came out, like pretty much the month that it came out, and I absolutely fell in love with it. But man, this is exactly what I wanted. And to me, the biggest thing that I saw that was different was it kind of reminded me of Fire Emblem Warriors in the sense that when they actually moved and did the attack, so they normally it's just like it's a tactical game. You move the chess pieces around of the characters, and then they do a battle with just another character. But now they have like armies behind them, and you see like when it goes into like the cinematic where they go and attack the person, you actually see the armies fighting in the background, and it's like that's just a little thing that they adds so much depth and realism to the game, and it makes you feel like, oh, that's what's actually happening. It's not 20 people on a field and this decides the fate of the game. Now you're actually seeing the real war that's happening. Awesome. I cannot wait for that game. Day one buy, guaranteed. There's so many games. Here's the thing. E3 this year, not a lot of crazy new things, but there's so many already big games coming. That's crazy. And I'm going to talk about one game. Hopefully I remember at the end of one game that I really want to talk about that they didn't show at all. At least I don't think they did. They might have shown like a quick tidbit of it, but I don't... they might have. I can't remember anymore. Either way, it deserved more time. Then, as I alluded to earlier, Super Mario Party is coming to the Switch. And what's great about this is that it's finally back to how Mario Party used to be, where it's not everybody in like a car and you're moving all at the same time, and it's just where you land when it's your turn. That's what you get, and then everybody else... I hated that. I like being on a board and everybody goes in their own direction. That, to me, is how Mario Party should have always been. The actual minigames look pretty fun. I don't know how I feel if everything has to be played on the joysticks, so as in, like, you only have the little controller, like half of a controller, pretty much. I don't know how I feel about that. If that's the case, I'm probably going to buy, like, they have these things that kind of make it like a controller that you attach onto it, so it has, like, the handle, the grips at the bottom. I think I'm going to get that. But either way, super stoked about this. Finally, a new Mario Party game that is doing the proper kind of Mario Party. Mario Party 9 and 10 were like this. Didn't like them at all, that they had gone this way. The minigames are still fun, but I need that regular board where you're all moving at the same time. They also did a thing where at one point they had two switches and they used like the handheld and they moved another one at a different place, and you actually walked around on that. That was really cool. Don't know how often I'm actually going to use that, but my girlfriend does have a Switch, so I might do that. Like my mother absolutely loves Mario Party, so when this comes out, I'm sure that we're going to be playing this numerous times when I go over. My brother's going to be there, and we're all taking turns and stuff like that. It's just a hoot because she's not very good at video games at all. She never plays any video games ever except for Mario Party. She loves those games and Nintendo Land. Those are the only two that she's ever played, and she really loves them. So that was awesome. And like I said, in the treehouse for Mario Party, it was really interesting. Some of the items that they had for the power-ups, they were kind of cool. And the fact that also they have every character has a specific regular dice, so 1d6, but then they also have a different dice specific to them. So sometimes it'll be like you'll have on the 6 sides it'll be 1 1 3 3 3 6. I think that was Mario's. There was Bowser who had like -3 coins, 1 or 2 or something like that, and then 7 and 10 or something. So they might not move at all and they'll lose 3 coins, but you could also move up to 10 spaces. So that was kind of cool. But you can also go back and not use that at all every time that it's your turn. They showed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which the more that I see of this game, the more I want it. I really do not like that you have to catch the Pokemon like Pokemon Let's Go. Actually, I don't mind like throwing it. Don't really care about that. Really don't. Motion control to me is always just never a thing that I really want. Other than like if you're doing VR, that's the only time that I think that it actually does make sense. Like Skyrim VR, Batman VR, those make sense to me. But in terms of Pokemon, not only do I just not really want to be using this because I'd rather play the game like with a controller. That's how I want to play Pokemon games. But the big thing was that does this mean that we don't have random battles anymore? That we can't do the grind of battling Pokemon with our regular 6 and just grinding the experience? That's a big aspect of Pokemon. I never really cared about catching them. Like, I'll catch them if it's a cool one, but I never cared about, like, completing my Pokedex ever. That was never my kind of thing. Catching them all, it's just playing it and grinding. That, to me, is a large part of Pokemon, and they're taking that away with this. But everything else, like, it just, I'm such in a Pokemon mood right now, and I'm tempted to play a Pokemon game that I have, or like any of them, or just maybe re-downloading. If they had it on the Switch, I'd probably get Pokemon like Yellow or something like that, which is essentially what this is, but still. But I don't want to spoil it, because then I don't want to have be burnt out by the time that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee comes out. So I'm holding off. We'll see how long that lasts. So far, I'm doing pretty good. I also like that you could ride an Onix and that your Pokemon follow you. Just these little integrations make some of these games so much more fun, and it's some things that I just wish they would have done so much longer. And like Pikachu's like hanging out on your side, like he's not just following you, he's like actually on you. Same thing with Eevee. It's just adorable, and it's exactly what I want from Pokemon. They showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I guess new DLC. I haven't played it yet, but I really got to get into that game. Yeah, it looked amazing. They also showed Splatoon 2. DLC looks all right. I mean, more Splatoon is always a good thing, but I'm not going crazy, and I don't think I'm gonna pick it up. The expansion or whatever. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is coming to the Switch, which is awesome on one hand, because like that's actually one fighter game that does look kind of cool, but I think I'd rather on like the Xbox One, just because I think it'll look that much clearer on my TV. They have a new Octopath Traveler demo, which actually transfers from whatever you do in that demo will transfer to the actual game when it launches. That was kind of cool. Picked that up as well. There was 3 things that I picked up recently for my Switch. They were all free. So I got the Octopath demo, I got Fortnite, and I got the Fallout sim type of game. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I picked all of those up, and I was just happy that these were there. I normally never pick up demos, but on the Switch it's completely different. I don't know why. They showed some other games like Killer Queen, Hollow Knight, and Overcooked 2. That was pretty much the only one that I really cared about out of those 3. That looks awesome. Overcooked 1 was fantastic. I hope that they do release a physical copy, though. They also showed a mech game, which is Demon Cross Machinas, or Ex Machinas. I don't know I don't remember what they actually said for this. But Demon Cross Machina or Ex Machina, whatever it is. I'm not really into big mechs, so I mean, it kind of looked cool, but I would never pay like the $80 that it's going to cost in Canada here for that game. And I think that's it. Then I think that they did at one point just show a bunch of different games, and they might have shown 10 seconds of it, but I can't remember if they did. And if they did show it, that's awesome, but it needed more. Little Dragon's Cafe. If you like maybe Overcooked, or just games where you're kind of cooking and you have to deal with customers and things like that, but also if you like Harvest Moon, the real old Harvest Moon, or Let's Go Story of Seasons, or what's the new one there? What's it called? Stardew Valley. Fantastic game, by the way. Pick it up if you get the chance. Stardew Valley's amazing if you like the old school Harvest Moon games. But this is in that vein, with a gigantic dragon that you get as a baby, and it slowly grows throughout this game, and you have to, I guess, nurture it, and you go exploring, but you also have a restaurant where you're a chef, and you have to. I just want so much more from this game. My girlfriend was looking at it, she's like, that is the type of game that would be so awesome to just watch a person play. Because it's so different, and it harkens back to me, the Harvest Moon love that I have inside of me for the old school games, not the new stuff that they produce nowadays. But yeah, I got the limited edition pre-ordered already, because I cannot wait for this game. Oh man. Another game that I did see when they were showing 10-second clips was Monster Hunter Generations, that was on the 3DS, is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Awesome. I'm hoping that more Monster Hunter games come to the Nintendo Switch, just like, because in Japan they got so many of them, and I'm hoping that we kind of get this with the Switch. Monster Hunter Worlds on Xbox One that I've played, it's also on PS4. fantastic game. I love it. That was my first Monster Hunter experience, and I want so many more of that. Actually, no, I've played Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on 3DS, but it's on 3DS, so it's not exactly the same. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So not a crazy amount of, like, no big releases. They didn't show Metroid 4. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. We've already seen that previously, which is a little bit unfortunate. They should have waited for E3. Just waited a little bit longer. I think that would have been bigger news at the time had they waited for E3, and then they would have won because nobody else really did that good of a job. They didn't show anything for Yoshi, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Metroid, and I think that waiting to show Pokemon would have been much bigger in my opinion. But still, super happy with Fire Emblem, and I do think that Little Dragon's Cafe should have gotten a little bit like more time and like an actual scene. Take 3 minutes away from Super Smash Brothers and give it to Little Dragon's Cafe, and I would have been super happy. So there you have it. E3 is finally done, and I don't even know how many games pre-ordered. It's going to be a crazy year of gaming, and same thing for the first 6 months of 2019. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage!